indeed, we are not talking only about augmented reality, we're also talking about collaboration. So we stay on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Joining forces, how Google and Singapore are innovating travel experiences through augmented reality is the title of our next session. And indeed, we have them here both. We have Google and we have Singapore Tourism Board. And collaboration is an essential thing here on the one hand. So it's a human side. And on the technological side, we talk so much about AI in the past days. I think there is more on Web3 and on future tech. We have to think and consider about this because it all belongs together somehow, somewhere. And that's what we find. That's what we want to find out. And it's a pleasure for me to welcome Eoghan. She's the Regional Director Europe from the Singapore Tourism Board. Eoghan, welcome on stage. Some of you might met her already yesterday on a destination track. And I welcome Cheryl Shang. She's the Head of XR Partnerships at Google from Singapore. Cheryl, pleasure to have you here. And we're looking forward about the results from your collaboration.
Thanks so much, Dirk. And I know it's very tough because today is the last day of ITB and it's like 3 p.m. So first and foremost, thank you very much for being here. I'm Eoghan and
this is Cheryl.
I almost feel like we're kind of co-hosting a talk show, but I thought maybe before we start kind of talking a little bit about our collaboration and what we do, we'll start off with a bit of a video that kind of give you a quick sense of the genesis of the partnership and what we did together. All right, maybe I'll start off with a little bit of myself. I'm based in London and I run Europe. I've been here for about a year, but prior to my experience in Europe, I was actually based out in the US, starting actually a unit for the Singapore Tourism Board called Future Tourism. And the intention of Future Tourism is really about anticipating into the vision of what tourism is going to look like in the future and what exactly are travelers going to be looking for in the future. So pretty much the generation of my children that grew up on a digital-first platform, and how would they be consuming tourism when they become the next wave of the bulk of our visitor arrivals? And then we kind of look at it also from the perspective of Singapore. For those of you who are not familiar with Singapore, we are seriously a really tiny little island, 30% smaller than the city of Berlin, with a population of 6 million, which is more than Berlin. So you can imagine how dense we are as a city. Because of the density, and there are a couple of problems, basically, for a tourism destination like us as we continue to grow. One, we have no more land to continue building, so we are limited in terms of our land space. Two, we really have a manpower crunch in terms of our ability to get more people to work in the tourism industry. And third, it's really about how then do we grow tourism as we continue to move. We can't continue building new attractions. We don't have the land for another, let's say, Universal Studio or Disneyland. So how do we work within a small little tiny island and continue to refresh what we offer our visitors that comes to visit us? That kind of got us thinking about using technology and how do we use technology to actually refresh the storytelling of what we can do in Singapore. How do we turn Singapore into a real augmented reality city on its own? How do you layer, basically, the physical realm of a destination with an augmented realm that you could actually experience beyond what you see physically when you visit a destination? And when you look at where the future is going with augmented reality glasses and how light they've become and the future of what it's going to be, where it looks almost like a pair of Ray-Ban, there's a huge possibility of us being able to kind of do a better job in storytelling of our destination when hardware is ready. So we kind of feel like, okay, we need to start looking into it. We need to start investigating it. And then we found a great partner in Google who was at that time launching new products, which is AR Core. Oh no, I'm only second slides and I'm only 20 seconds left. But essentially, we kind of look at it and said, how do we use augmented reality and how do we turn the entire city to tell a better story? We started with 6 points of interest, and then we eventually grew it to 30 points of interest that really was able to kind of reskin with an augmented reality. And then we were really delighted that we were then able to incorporate it onto Google Maps. So beyond the collaboration with Google itself, these are just some examples of how some of our industry partners have used augmented reality in the hotel. So this is Grand Park Hotel. They kind of reskinned one of their room with a space themed and allowed children to actually learn more about outer space and STEAM. And then we also did a project with one of our historical sites using, again, augmented reality to bring forth what the past was like and storytelling with that in mind. I was going to pass it to Cheryl so she could share a little bit about the Google project, and I'm really out of time, but maybe during the Q&A we can talk a little bit more.
Thanks, Kashin. Over the past few years, we have been amazed about how innovative STB, Singapore Tourism Board, has been. And we're very honored that the technology Google is building can support a lot of wonderful vision that Singapore Tourism Board have been sharing with us. One of them is to build Singapore as the first AR city in the world. So while Google is building a lot of different technologies, having a partner like this will really help us to see how the technology can put this in use and help people's life on a day-to-day basis. I was about to play that, but I realized that we probably don't have time to look through that. So I would like to share with you one of the tools that we helped STB in building all those wonderful projects, which is called Geospatial Creator. It is powered by AR Core and also the 3D maps from Google Maps. And check it out. Yay! So this is how geospatial creators can help us build different immersive experiences. We see that in this video that with those 3D information, it can make the direction more precise, it can make our games more fun, and also it can make the arts even more interactive. Our intent is for these tools to help creators to build immersive experience so that they can help the future of tourism experiences even more immersive and also interactive with the travelers. And the question is, what's next? So we've been building a lot of technology for mobile devices, but what comes next? Last December, we have announced a new platform called Android XR, which is an extension of our Android platform, and to power the future new form factors beyond mobile devices, such as goggles and glasses. And this platform, we intend to have it so that the technology we've already built for mobile devices can also be even more helpful for other form factors. Here it goes.
We've been in this space since Google Glass, and we have not stopped. Things like AR Core, the Geospatial API, Lens, Live View, Translate, and now Gemini.
We can take those experiences, which already work great, and find new ways to be helpful for people.
Speaking of helpful, we want to be really helpful in terms of the technology that we can bring to partners, users, and in this case, travel partners. So we have Gemini, which is the front and center of our Android XR, which is going to power future form factors. And we create something that is called, it's like a new type of conversational multimodal experience that we can empower users to have on this new platform. Here's a very cool example. I hope that you will
Gemini,
be
can you show me
inspired.
VR 180 videos of this place?
Sure, I can help with that.
We're incredibly excited for Gemini on Android XR that will power a new type of conversational multimodal experience.
Designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. It's one of the largest brick domes ever constructed, and a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture.
Okay, this is amazing. I definitely have to visit here, but I want to find some restaurants nearby.
I'm sure we could find a place in New York. Maybe we could take the team here tonight if you're feeling seafood.
Hey Gemini, can you take me to this restaurant?
Sure, I can take you to the Clam in New York.
So these are just some of the cool experiences that we're hoping to build for our future partners that can go beyond mobile devices. Hopefully also not only in goggles, but also in glasses that can help our visitors and travelers in their future tourism experience to be more helpful. We look forward to continue to partner with Singapore Tourism Board for these cool technology opportunities and also other travel partners in this room. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Kershing. I think it's time for a wrap-up to understand things a little bit more deeper. So have a seat, please. You can go in the middle if you like. Definitely, we have to talk about XR and AR. But before we do so, I think we have some destinations here in the room. I hope so, at least. Are there any DMOs here or destinations? Okay, we had the same thing yesterday. It's still a big mystery who you are if you're not a destination, but we will find out later when we get the data aggregation from the session. However, Kershing, congrats to be the first AR city in the world. Maybe a little bit support for getting the second AR city in the world. How to get Google as a partner? How to get this, I would say, extraordinary collaboration, isn't it?
I think we discussed this a little bit yesterday as well. I think it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of like the stars align because it really happened when Google was launching Geospatial AR Core and they were looking at possible applications. And we happened to meet in Silicon Valley at an event, and I was talking a little bit about the vision of where we see tourism is going and how Singapore wants to kind of be a pioneer in driving where tourism is going. And we ended up kind of having a really long conversation of how can we use Geospatial? How do we use AR Core? How can we do that? And then one thing leads to another. But we are really very grateful by the amount of support we actually got from Google in the entire process of kind of holding our hands as we take baby steps towards this journey. And I think what was really interesting and heartfelt for me was this wasn't really about how much money am I going to spend with Google in return for what am I going to get. I think they reckon that we are also in a very nascent stage for the travel and tourism industry. And we are actually trying to kind of open up a new frontier on what this means. So there was a lot of support from an engineering perspective. Their product guys in Mountain View was like the best. We had so much issue with the 3D modeling, and they talk us through how to kind of troubleshoot that. So I think it was, for me, a very humbling experience, but really a lot of kudos to the partnership with Google for helping us really kind of like branch out into this.
Yeah, we can ask Google, Cheryl, how to get a DMO partner from Google? How do you do this?
Well,
Simply being the best, or?
first of all, I just have to say the feeling is mutual. How appreciative that we have to find the partners who actually see the essence of the technology that we're building and find a way to actually apply this in real life. So thank you, STV and Corry, for working with us on that. And how to work with us, I think there are, XR, AR is a very new area that we are still finding our fit on a lot of applications. So we welcome the community to come to us and share with us what this technology can help you solve your business problems or help your user to solve their day-to-day live experience, so that we have those knowledge and we can make the product, it can influence product to build this product to a different direction. So I think how to become it can start with the tools that we already have, like a geospatial creator that I share. That's available for 49 countries already. You can start to build that on mobile devices, where we're busy building goggles and also glasses in the future. STB is in a really great position now that they are experiencing building all these assets in mobile devices. When the new form factors are ready, they will be front and center and ready to litter up all those assets to be in the new devices.
Okay, just to make it clear, this geospatial creator, it's available in most
49
countries, 49
countries.
countries,
For
wherever
your
they
mobile-
are, but probably not in the EU, but somewhere outside they are available. But it did not help just because you don't get the outcome into Google Maps so far. This is so far unique for Singapore, or?
No, the creator, geospatial creator, you can use it to create this assets already. What's currently on pilot was to put those contents in maps.
Yes.
Those are pilot. So those are still to be evaluated. But then creating those contents to see the city of the world and also doing some game for the landmarks in your city, that's totally available right now.
Kaosheng, what is the value for Singapore as a destination in using augmented reality and in turning it into Google? What's the good thing in it?
I think I covered briefly a little bit of that, which is for us, how do you tell the deeper story of the destination? And we all know that when you go to a destination, when you have a guide, for example, it just brings to life a lot more of the story behind what you're seeing in the destination. So the value for us is, how do we do that without physically erecting a physical storyboard at every corner of Singapore? So that's the value of augmented reality. Two, I think, is in terms of discoverability. I think that's super important as well for us, which is how do you enable discoverability in a very intuitive way from a consumer perspective, where there isn't a lot of friction of like, oh, you need to do this, you need to download that, you need to sign in order for you to get that. Consumer would have abandoned this within 3 seconds if you require them to jump through so many hoops. So I think the beauty of this is really about how do you kind of interject with the consumer in a most intuitive, seamless way where you're serving them the destination information that is super useful for them. Whether is it about the fact that there's something really interesting happening in this corner and you're literally like 20 feet away, so don't miss it, just turn here, you'll find out there's a little jewel or a coffee shop there, for example. So to us, I think that's very precious. And the more we are able to do this, the more we're going to encourage spontaneous consumption.
Do you think it will replace the human tour guide, or has it already replaced the human tour guide in Singapore?
No, definitely not. In fact, I think, like I keep saying that, like I mentioned, because I'm beginning to sound like a parrot, but I think the soul of a destination it's really what's unique, and we all know if there are DMOs and destination marketeers here, nothing can ever replace the human factor of what we stand for and the soul of the destination. I think what technologies such as this present is really amplifying the soul and amplifying it to everyone that comes visit us, because not everybody has the luxury of having a personal guide with them for the entire 4 days or 5 days. But how do we still enable that connection to the destination so that they experience the personal story without perhaps the luxury of having a personal friend with you for the next 5 days? So for me, I firmly believe that you'll never ever replace the beauty and the strength of human connection, to his point earlier, the earlier presenter. I think that's super powerful, and it remains to be the integral part of, I think, the strength of humankind.
Sharon, what's the value for Google and for Google user on this collaboration? Is it, will it be outrolled to the rest of the world soon, or are there any plans to do so?
Well, yeah, as Kashin mentioned, our stars really aligned, because what we care a lot about is being helpful to users. So the technology that we're building, eventually, we want to build it so that it improves people's life, improve any circumstances that people can do better than today. So with that, I think partnering with any travel partners, if you can bring to us what business value that you're trying to, what problem you're trying to solve, what value you try to add to your day-to-day, and we can talk about, with the current available technology, how can we bring those technology to your organizations and make it better, very creatively, just like what we did with Singapore Tourism Board.
Let's look a bit into the future. You're a tech company. We don't have to introduce you, but we also don't have to introduce Singapore, but most of the people might know that you're probably one of the most tech-driven DMOs from the whole world. So it's not only AI you're leading, you're investing into AI as well. Not only AR you're also investing into artificial intelligence. You're optimizing your data stream. You've invented on Data Hub in a quite unique way. So what's next, and what's the role of augmented reality in future tech in general, Kirsten? Will it come all together? Will we see augmented reality also displayed in AI features, for instance, or what do you see in the future? What's the next big thing?
Cheryl will probably be in a better position, but I'm going to make an attempt. Yeah. I do think that the stars are going to align, and that's when the real power happens. I think when you combine augmented reality and artificial intelligence, you bring a totally different level of hyper-personalization that I think it's never been seen before. And with my children, who pretty much grew up in, I only have a 3-second lifespan and attention span, I think being able to capture that market is super important. And if you think about predictive modeling, which is something that I'm also super excited about, it's really about predicting the need of the consumer before they even know that they need it. I think that's super powerful. And the faster we are in being able to do some of this, the better we are able to serve our consumer and serve them in a much more meaningful and deeper way. So I truly believe that whether it's augmented reality, big data, or artificial intelligence, they will eventually merge, and that is going to kind of bring a different level of experiences in terms of travel and tourism.
The fundament is data, isn't it? The fundament simply is data. Data is the fundament, it's not the future tech. You need the data first, isn't it?
I think it all powers from data. It's what you do with that data. I think that's powerful. Yeah. Obviously, then you obviously do need the hardware to catch up with some of it, which I think Cheryl kind of mentioned a little bit. So I think that's what we are eagerly awaiting as well, because there's a lot of things that is currently happening from a destination marketing perspective that uses a lot of what we talk about. But when you're talking about in-destination experiences, when you're physically already in the destination and you're walking the streets, you do need the catch-up of some of the hardware in order to really power some of these experiences that we are dreaming about.
Yeah,
do you agree?
I want to echo what Kashin just mentioned. One of the videos that we just saw, there is a snapshot, probably just 1 second. Whereas imagine you travel in South Korea, and then you're walking on the street, you walk past a coffee shop that you really want to order a coffee, you look at the wall, wow, the coffee menu is all in Korean. Imagine if you were wearing the glasses, which is powered by Gemini, and it detects that your natural language is English, while you were looking at the menu in a different language. Imagine if your glasses would tell you and interpret all those into the language that you're familiar with. And also, it can give you instruction, tell you in your ear that, hey, your normal ordered oat latte is speaking like this in Korean, and then you can order that. That becomes so helpful. That becomes an AI and an AR in combination with the new form factors, which help the total travel experience be so seamless and so helpful. So that's where we're heading to, and we're so excited about. The hardware needs to catch up, but I think the concept and also aspiration we share together is the same.
which is why I think while we're waiting for the hardware to catch up, we need to start creating all these stories, and we need to start creating this content, because to a certain extent, it's a chicken and egg situation, where it's like, if you have the hardware, nobody's going to buy a hardware where there's nothing to do with it, right? So that's the reason why we start investing on, okay, like, where are the stories? What do we want to do with it? So eventually when the hardware is ready, which I don't think is very far, it opens up a new world.
Absolutely. So we learned augmented reality plays a vital role within the large Google cosmos. Augmented reality is a great support for destination marketing. It's a new playing field that you are leading in, and we also learned collaboration is priceless, which we all also learned before. So thank you so much, Cheryl Kirsching. It was a pleasure to have you here. You get a long way. Please have an extra applause.